Hey y'all, I'm Emily, the Shady Grove Stitcher, and I love creating beautiful hand-stitched pieces. Welcome to the Pink Room, where I share my love of cross-stitch by showcasing projects I've completed in my quest to fill an antique cabinet my husband and I inherited from my in-laws. Hey guys, welcome back to the Pink Room for Flosstube episode 19. It's so good to see you. When I left you last time, I said, I'm not coming back until I finish Dasher and Dancer. And spoiler, it's done. So here I am. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. I have a fully finished object I'm going to share with you. But I just thought I'd start with a couple of life updates. Very brief. I regret to inform you that there's been a death in the family. Our beloved Rosie has passed away. For those of you who are new here, Rosie's a vacuum, so it's not that big of a deal, but she has kind of a cameo appearance on this program. She's always running in the background and eating shoes and being loud and just all sorts of junk. Well, she has, I guess one of her drop sensors is, just realized you can see my straw on my cup over here. It's weird. One of her drop sensors is broken and you can't fix it. Some people on Reddit say that you can fix it with software, but you can't downgrade your software. So anyway, she's just in the hallway, and maybe one day the vacuum people will figure out a way to fix her. I reached out to customer support and I was like, hey, here's the problem. And they said, can't be fixed, but if you want, you could buy a new $600 vacuum. And I'm like, A, this vacuum was not, what? A, this vacuum was not $600. B, my vacuum is less than 2 years old. Why would I pay you more money for a vacuum that didn't last? It just doesn't make any sense. Hi, why are you being so tooty? So that was number one. The other horrific event at this house is that Henry got skunked. My God, you guys. So in the morning, can you just sit there? Just talk to your little internet friends. In the morning, Newton goes out, and then later Henry goes out. And Henry had gone out and gone potty, and we were like finishing up, getting his leash on and that sort of stuff so we could all go walk. Well, we were standing on the patio getting ready to walk out the gate, and all of a sudden he darts to the back of the yard. And it's 6:30. It's pitch dark out there. You can't see anything. And I'm like, what are you? And about the time I get the flashlight up and pointed to the back of the yard, I realized it's a skunk. And I was like, no! Bloody murder, screamed bloody murder, right? My poor neighbors. I sent them all text messages later, and I was like, so sorry that I screamed bloody murder this morning. They were like, I slept, it's fine. And at the time, like, the smell doesn't hit you instantly. And I thought, maybe he got close-ish and was like, looks like a bad idea. Maybe let's not do this. That was not the case. He did get close enough because when he came back to me, his whole face was like really misty, and then his eyes were really drippy. I was on the phone with my mother and I was like, I don't know what to do. So we were kind of having a bit of a panic, and she's Googling just as fast as she can. And so we rinsed him off, and I remembered my neighbor telling me that she had some sort of like skunk smell annihilator. So I messaged her and I said, can I borrow your skunk stuff? And I rinsed him, then I washed him in peroxide and Dawn. We went and walked, and he and I walked one lap in the neighborhood by ourselves, and then I went back and got Newton, and Newton was walking with us, and he was like, bro, you smell. It was so hilarious. But by the time we had gotten back, she had the skunk deodorizer stuff. Well, you can't put it on his face directly. All you can do is put it on a cloth and wipe his face. And since he got sprayed directly in the face, he was like extra skunky. So we used that, and then you have to wash that off with regular dog shampoo. All I did for like an entire day, all I did was wash the dog. It was insane. That was last Wednesday. Today's Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to get this uploaded today or tomorrow. He still smells. I keep telling people where they're like, how's it going? And I say, well, he's not offensive now. Like, you can get in the car with him and not gag, but I didn't realize how often I like get in his face and love on him and stuff, because you get in his face now and you're like, I can't, I'm sorry, it's gross. So that's been fun. I went to a sit and stitch. I've never done an in-person stitching event. Never been to a retreat, nothing like that. And Lisa, oh, cover your mouth. Lisa, who is Snaps on Instagram and Snaps and Stitches on YouTube. I met her through YouTube. YouTube was like, hey, maybe you'd like Lisa. And later I was like, YouTube, you're right, Lisa's awesome. But she goes to this event at a local quilt shop and has invited me, but it's always on Wednesdays. And I had a little PTO and I was like, I'm just going to use a PTO day and I'm going to go up there, sit with the ladies and stitch. I had the most fun. I was there. Now I did have to leave a little bit early because Newton he's not usually crated for that long. And I was going to have to crate him for like 5 or 6 hours for me with the drive time and everything. So I didn't stay the entire time. But the ladies were all delightful. Now, Lisa, being the outgoing lass that she is, was like, come around, let me introduce you to everybody. And so she introduced me to everybody and they were so nice and so welcoming. The real thing, okay, 2 things. Number 1, the number of them who said, I watch you on TV. I was like, that's so weird. So weird. So that kind of took me off guard because I just, I've said it before. I sit here in this bedroom and I talk to you guys and I know that you exist because you send me messages. But when you go out into the real world and real live humans say, I watch you on TV, you're like, boy, that's strange. So that was weird. And then the other thing was I didn't think it would be so impressive to see other people stitching in real life. They were working on some of the most beautiful projects. My friend Carrie's been working on Anne Grimshaw, which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's this huge Quaker and it's all in black. And I knew it was big. I've seen it a million times, like things that you know in your brain, right? But when I saw it in real life, it is jaw-dropping. Just all the things that people are working on, and they come over to your table and they're like, what are you working on? I want to see it. And everybody's just really chatty. It was so lovely to be around like-minded people. And then the shop, like I said, it's a quilt shop, but they're also getting into cross stitch, and now they're also getting into like wool applique, which I know absolutely nothing about. So I was like, Lace, could you show me about this wool applique? So she took me into the shop and she was talking to me about it. I'm not going to pick that hobby up, but it was so great to have somebody there he has just laid his head down on the desk and huffed like I'm inconveniencing him with this Flosstube we're doing here, whatever. Anyway, she took me into the shop and showed me about it and explained it to me. It was fun to ooh and ah and fawn over things with somebody. So all that is to say, I am an extreme introvert. I'm not sure that I will always take PTO to go up there and do it, but it was a great experience. And if you haven't had the opportunity to meet up with stitchers in your area, I encourage you to do it at least once, even if it feels weird, even if you don't know anybody. Because even if I hadn't known Lisa and Lisa did not parade me around, it wouldn't have mattered. They were still the kindest, most welcoming group of ladies, and 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. So that's that. The other thing before I show you my finishes that I wanted to ask, they're in the like 80s, I guess. I was born in the 80s, so it's not like, back in the dark ages. In the 80s, the company Paragon made cross-stitch kits and embroidery kits, I think specifically for JCPenney, but I don't hold me to that one. They made a kit called Home Sweet Home. They have 2 of them. One of them is all white, one of them is color. I will put a picture of it over my face. Guys, I am dying to get a copy of this. So it's like okay. All I know is counted cross stitch. So whatever the cross stitch is where they print it on the canvas and then you stitch on top of it, that's what this kit is. I'm not really looking for that in my life. I would put it on a pretty fabric, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want to stitch what's in the kit. So I'm looking for anybody who has it, if you have a kit and you're willing to part with it, or you have this stitched at your house and you're willing to take like 10 photos for me so that I could chart it for myself so that I could stitch it. I don't know what it is about this, but like I am dying to have it. And I can find it sometimes on eBay or Etsy, but they want like $50 for it. And then they want to charge me $15 to ship it to me. And that's just highway robbery. It is. It is not that great of a piece, especially when I don't like the cloth and I'm sure that the floss is gross. And you know, it's just like all the logistics of it is not working at me at the $75 price point that people are interested in it. So, like I said, I'm looking for Home Sweet Home by Paragon. And I was talking to my mom about it. She goes, well, did you ask your little internet friends? Sure didn't. So here I am, little internet friends. If you know anything about this, if you have it in your home, please help a girl out. Okay. Let's move on. Let's not move on yet. Let me tell you one other thing. If you have a Lowery, okay, there are two kinds of Lowerys. There is the powder coated skinnier version. It's the one that most people have. And then they have like an XL or Super Duty. I don't know what they call it. That's apparently a little bit more robust. At any rate, I don't know if both models do it. I know that the lower end model does it. For whatever reason, on a Lowery, you have the L-bar, and then you have the clamp that slides onto the L-bar. And the clamp produces some sort of like black soot, okay? I thought it was just me. I thought I had done something to my Lowery. But I was on a message board, and they were like, this is a problem, and I'm going to tell you how to fix it, okay? This is called Alfie Shine. You get it on Amazon. It's like, I don't know, $12 or $14. You literally just like rub it on the L-bar, let it sit a while, and then you buff it off. Completely stops the problem. So if you guys are Lowery users and you're having that issue, Alfie Shine is the solution. Okay, now I'm ready. Fully finished item. Charming Stars Hollow. I can't see the bottom of my screen. By So Charming Design Co. Boy, that glare is nasty. Sorry about that. This is a kit. You can't see anything if I hold it back there. I apologize. This is a kit from So Charming Design Co. I stitched it with the supplied floss on the Ada that comes in the kit. And then it came with a physical pattern. If you want to stitch it on your own cloth and you have a hefty amount of DMC, you can get just the pattern. You can get just the downloadable pattern. She doesn't have a printable pattern, but she does have a downloadable pattern that you can buy and stitch your very own Stars Hollow, Gilmore Girls, what have you. This was so fun. So this is in case you missed the last video, this is the 25th anniversary of Gilmore Girls here in 2025. And it just seemed like a really great time to do this pattern. Jamie was generous enough to gift a kit to me, and I've been looking for a reason to get it started. And she actually frames hers in a much larger frame that has a mat, so it's more substantial. And following her, I was planning on following her lead. And then I had charted like Stars Hollow, Connecticut, founded in the huffing. 1779 or whatever it is that it says on the sign. But then this is the frame she buys for all of her campus. If you're not familiar with Jamie, she does campuses, and now she's getting into cityscapes. They are pretty darn awesome. But she buys the same frame every time, and I found the same frame she uses just in a smaller size. And I like the smaller size. I didn't want it to be jumbo. So anyway, the frame is $10. It's a very inexpensive finish. Again, this is Charming Stars Hollow. It's to honor Gilmore Girls in their 25th year. Okay. You guys, I can't believe this is finished. Oh, man. you knew what a pain in the ass it was in July. I wanted to throw it out the window. Okay, sorry, let me get myself together. Dasher and Dancer by Hobby House Press. I stitched it on 40 count Melting Moments by Fox and Rabbit. Can you even see this? Yes, okay. 40 count Melting Moments by Fox and Rabbit. I used Weeks Dye Works lily pad. Hang on, I gotta put the dog down. He decided that this was the point at which he wanted to get out of my lap. It was a sal that I started with my friend Carrie of Red Velvet Quilts, and then there's just not an easy way to hold this. She had warned me in the beginning that anytime somebody like dictates to her what she has to do, she kind of loses interest in it, and I lost her somewhere along the way, which I wasn't terribly surprised about. Really, it was shame that kept me going on this one. I didn't want to show up and be like, hey, I quit my own sal. That made me feel really bad. So I just kept at it, and it somewhere in the middle, it got really, really hard and a bit of a slog, and I was over it. I was so over it. But when I say it was you guys who kept me going, that is so much truth. So much truth. A couple of you, wait, before we get too far, a couple of you pointed out that this flower motif and this motif are not the same. And you were like, oh my God, you missed it. And I panicked and I was like, oh my God, I missed it. I didn't miss it. This is how it's charted. Should they match? I don't know. Other things are similar, but not exactly symmetrical. So I decided to leave it as charted, but just telling you. Appreciate you guys reaching out, but no need for anybody else to tell me I'm wrong. Because yes, it looks wrong, but it is not wrong. The 4 non-stop daily check-in people, Lizzie, who was stitching along with me, Patty, Lucretia, and Maggie. Every single day, you guys were like, oh my God, it's looking so good. Oh, you can do it. Even Lizzie was like, it's terrible, keep going. And then at the 11th hour, I was trying to figure out, like, I knew I wanted to put in 2025, fine, and I knew I wanted to put in my initials. It's charted to say QC, which I think we looked up was Quaker something at the beginning of this sal. I knew what it was. Literally all I can think is quality control. And so I didn't want to do that. I wanted to put my own initials, and I charted my initials 3 different times. I asked Carrie to pull from her books. I looked at my books, like nothing looked right. If it fit vertically, I'm sorry, there's something in my eye. If I was crying earlier, this is actually something in my eye. I asked her to check her stuff, and we just I couldn't find anything that worked. If it worked vertically, it was too fat. Woes of a stitcher, right? But then it was, the girls last night, Jenny and Joan, I saw theirs. So thank God we did this sal. I could go to the hashtag, and I liked the way theirs looked. And I was like, hi, having a crisis. Could you help me, please? And they were really sweet and helped me figure out the letters that they used so that I could finish this booger and it be done. And I finished it last night about 8 o'clock. My husband was like, the weather's really lovely. Do you want to go take the dogs for a walk? And I'm like, could you hang on a second? Because I've been working on it for so long and I wanted it to be done so bad. And it was so wrinkled. And I was like, I just have to put this on the ironing board. I have to. I need to see it all laid out, all finished. I started, if you're new here, I think I said this right after all you guys showed up after the digital pattern hoo-ha. I started stitching in 2020. I've stitched happy little cute things, right? I mean, like Brenda Gervais is as complicated as it gets in my life. So this was huge and tiny, and I mean, the stitching is tiny. The piece is huge. It's 18.5 inches. Hello. I mean, it's giant. So anyway, it's over. I'm thrilled. And I literally couldn't have done it without you. I still think a lot of you were totally insane to join me and stitch along. I am so glad that you did. You can expect that I will probably never run another sal. I had no business doing it the first time. I didn't do a really great job with it. Some of those months were really nice and breezy, and others were, for those of you who still have October, good luck. It's a lot. I didn't know how to split it up. And the reason that we did it, just again, if you're new here, the reason we crammed so much, and I think we started in either March or May, I can't remember. And the reason we sort of threw it together really fast, and we wanted the sale to end by the end of October so that November could be either a catch-up or framing month, and in December, everybody would have it finished. There was a point at which I was like, this needs to be over now. And so I've pushed through and I have finished early. The timeline, I think, was really the real whip in this situation. Still glad we did it. Still super happy with the end product, but it was an absolute whip. And what I thought was particularly funny about this is I posted it on Instagram last night and was like, oh my God, I did it. Right? And so many people, the people that talk to me about it all the time were like, oh my God, you did it. Yay, congratulations. And that was awesome. A ton of people who I don't normally talk to about it were like, oh my God, you did it. Yay, congratulations. That was awesome. The number of you who said, so what's next? I was like, y'all, I finished this 10 minutes ago. But you've met me. You know I have a plan. Of course I have a plan. So what's next? That's the, I've still got stars going. I sort of like lost interest in stars. I've been trying to convince myself to stitch on it in the evening. Hilariously, the grass that's at the bottom of stars is in Weeks Dye Works lily pad, and I'm like, I just can't right now. I cannot do lily pad right now. So that's, can y'all hear him snoring for real? Ridiculous. So stars is not happening right now. I am planning a birthday start. My birthday is in October, and I'm planning a birthday start. So if you had just finished a giant single color Quaker, what would you do? Start a larger one? Right, me too. I'm gonna start, so the pattern designer is Jardin Privé, Jardin. She's French, I'm not. Jardin Privé, and it's a 4-part series. It's in French, but I'm going to say it in English because I ain't French. It's Quaker Spring, Quaker Summer, Quaker Fall, and Quaker Winter. Might be Quaker Autumn. Anyway, and you can stitch them as individual pieces, or you can put them all together. So I'll pop it up on the screen. I saw somebody post it as a single color. They didn't do all 4. They did seasons 1 and 2 and kind of mashed 3 and 4 together, and I became obsessed with it, and now I can't let it go. So I'm going to be starting that as my birthday start in October. I will break it up like I did Dasher and Dancer. I will not do it in such a small time frame because I value my sanity. So that's going to kind of be going on in the background throughout 2026. I think I told you last time, but I'll tell you again. I'm going to be stitching 12 of the houses from Hometown Holiday. It's a series by Little House Needleworks. I haven't figured out which 12. I'm going to figure those details out later. I probably need to get on that, but I haven't. But most pressingly, let me talk to you about, it's relevant to patterns. Just hang on. Let me talk to you about this project bag. Okay. This project bag is from my girl Carrie, and I know some of you are really into these fobs, so let me show you the fob. It's got so many cute things. Look, hold on. She was like obsessed with these little doodads. I can't even show you on the camera. It's terrible. I'm so sorry. So it's a little pink cauldron, and then a little pink cupcake. Boy, my Flosstube is terrible. A little pink cupcake. Yep. And then there's a little ghost. He's a little pink ghost. Silver ghost, whatever. Oh. Anyway, it's cute, okay? So Carrie was making these bags, and I give exactly 0 hoots about Halloween. Hate it. Don't want to dress up. Didn't like it as a kid. Big fat no for me. The back is pink. Love it. The inside has these cute stars. They're pink and orange and black. So I'm not sure if you're aware or not. Java Girl Stitches does Pinkoween, which I was like, okay, maybe I could get into Halloween if it was pink. And then Carrie did these bags and I was like, I have to have one. I have to have one. I have a wire basket in the pink room and I'm starting to kit things and put them in project bags. And I leave the project bags out. That's sort of like my display. It's part decoration, but also they're so cute. Like, why would you just stick them in a drawer, right? So, sorry, the dog's sniffing around in the closet. Hey. Hang on just 1 second, please. Okay, sorry, he doesn't usually spend time in the closet, so I was like, what the heck is going on in there? I was interested in the bag just for decorative purposes. In an adjacent conversation, I got this hyacinth linen. That's a pretty accurate color representation on camera. I got this hyacinth linen from the Seraphim Club that I'm in, and I'm like, I am not this person. I am not purple, periwinkle, whatever this, we are not. And my sister made the comment like, oh, maybe you could stitch something Halloween on it. So there was this one color witch lady that I think is really cute, but what's her name? Don't tell me. Liz Mathews has a pattern called Boo, Spook, Haunt. And I actually think it would be really cute on this fabric. So that is my next start, is Boo, Spook, Haunt on this fabric in this bag at a house where somebody doesn't love Halloween, right? Makes all the sense. And I don't know if I'll finish it, but I like seasonal stitching, so I'm gonna get started on it. And then I'm hoping next time, what month is this? What is today? September. I'm hoping pretty soonly that I can make a decision about the birthday start. So I talked to my friends Carrie and Christy about some floss things. They were both super helpful, and I just can't decide about the linen. So I was gonna do it on like a neutral linen. We're back to the Jardin Privé thingy. I was gonna do it on a neutral linen, and then Carrie was like, but you need to love it while you're stitching it. And I kind of had my heart set on using pink linen. And my husband was like, but what if you don't have a pink room? And I'm like, I don't know. Emily today has a pink room and she really likes the idea of doing something pink. So TBD, I'll get back to you on that birthday start. But for now, that's what I'm gonna do. So, short video today. I don't have any, I didn't work on any other WIPs because it has been all Dasher and Dancer all the time. It needed to be over. I needed it to be over. I needed to not think about it. I am gonna have it framed. Several of you have said, are you gonna have it framed? Oh, yeah, I'm having it framed. In fact, somebody, I wrote it down one day and was like, oh, she was so helpful. Rita sent me a message. Oh, good. We're going to play with the little squeaky baby. Rita sent me a message and said that she's in North Texas and she uses a particular frame shop, because I was saying in a past video, I was kind of like weirded out by Michael's and Hobby Lobby because it's just too much time for somebody to do something weird to it. And she has really good luck with this particular shop. And I was like, awesome, I'll go there. As it turned out, at the stitch day I went to, somebody from that frame shop came and spoke to the group. So I will be taking it to have it framed. You will see it one more time. And then it will live on the wall. And it's just going to be Christmas 24/7 at this house because it's too much work and it's too pretty for me to only bring it out for 1 month out of the year. And if people think it's weird, who was it? I think it was somebody who was at the stitch day said, I don't think it's Christmas. I see deer. That's like hunting. And I'm like, love that. Love that take on things. It's the woods and it's nature and it's hunting. And then in December, you're like, oh, reindeer. So Thank you again for everybody who has followed along. I know if you follow me on Instagram, my Instagram grid is pretty crappy because it's just like all beige and green floss. Hopefully it will get more interesting from here on out. We'll see. And that's it. Until next time, talk to you later. Love you, bye. I just figured out there's a cinematic mode on the video. I didn't even know. The background is blurrier and cuter. Somebody should have told me this.